one now Madrid also was a penalty. I mean, I don't want to tell it as a controversial and Obia make say me a Barca Nintina make us. Into one now Madrid was a penalty goal. Now rich. Obia him say a Jumana Xabi Alonso was and Enra. I think so among Goffin will say probably is more bigger than the wound one, you know. Jumana no idea. Now this is why I say so. Into see a park in so. Now who Tony Cruz or Yembesho? Who Modric or Yembesho? Who Karim Benzema or Yembesho? Who Cristiano Ronaldo or Yembesho? Who Kylian Mbappé or Yembesho? Who Gary Bay or Yembesho? You just start table on the crown. You see those players and they exude a lot of personality. Marriage. There is no way you will be afraid of Ada Goulet. Even though Onimbo, Chiomani doesn't give you that. Federico Valverde doesn't give you that. Bono, but he doesn't have the personality. Nobody is afraid of him. But he doesn't exude Real Madrid standard personality. Now, gradually, Rich, Vinicius is turning into Anthony of Manchester United.
They didn't go you.
Now, so we league table ni dia. The reason why a club will be that top, now a be that second, third, the number of goals are ultimate share with win because about 3 points they are from Barcelona to Real Madrid. Obia 3 points. But Rich, the reason why out of the 8 clubs are Obia win on the first day, Madrid and that one and say, among clubs now almost a few goals in the 1 goal per Madrid 18 and ra. One now Madrid also was a penalty. I mean, I don't want to tell it as a controversial and Obia make say me a Barca Nintina make us. Into one now Madrid was a penalty goal. Now Rich. Obia himself a Jumana Xabi Alonso was and Enra. I think so among Goffin will say probably is more bigger than the wound one, you know. Jumana no idea. Now this is why I say so. We all know say Tima Madrid ending the ball and run plays in a 3-4-3. That is how they play. Inti Ozos, Ruben Garcia, Anti Budime. Say no Osasuna ball anymore 3. Then they play in a back 3 with 2 wing backs and 2 central midfielders. Now Rich, but in defensive transitions, which majority of the time they will have to be in a defensive shape. No, what they do and they say, Rich, our back trainer come more close to accommodate our wing backs, you know, until you see them majority of the time 5 defenders, which 2 central midfielders, you know, elbow much kakra, so that there's no space gidi for you to play in between the lines against them. They're not omaja Budiman Kwa anymore. Ubehu Ozos and Ruben Garcia also coming inverted say very, very compact. But Rich, Xabi Alonso decided to go 4-3-3. And it's already we also born a 4-3-3 now. He played in the back 4 of Trent, then the new left back, Benfica, Carres, then a back 2, and I said center halves of Adam Militao and Dean Hoysen, then Uben Fifi. For me, problem no and Fifi no any anymore. Chiomani, Ada Goulet, Federico Valverde, Sam Medford no. It's supposed to be good enough, and I'm a You have your DM. Then you have your box to box in Federico Valverde. And I want a typical no Matena on him on the ball. young player when him dribble in tight spaces. He know how to create within the passes. And I'll be anymore over Brahim Diaz, Vinicius Junior, and a Kylian Mbappé. But Rich, this is the problem. Number one, Real Madrid a team, a free team in Rich, the reason why they buy the Galacticos and they say they want to show you personality first. And to see Eba Park and so now who Tony Cruz or Yembesho, who Modric or Yembesho, who Karim Benzema or Yembesho, who Cristiano Ronaldo or Yembesho, who Kylian Mbappé or Yembesho, who Gary Bay or Yembesho. You just start on the ground. You see those players and they exude a lot of personality. Marriage. There is no way you will be afraid of Ada Goulet. Even though on the ball. Chiomani doesn't give you that. Federico Valverde doesn't give you that. But he doesn't have the personality. Nobody is afraid of him. But he doesn't exude Real Madrid standard personality. Now, gradually, Rich, Vinicius is turning into Antonio of Manchester United. And you see, Bona Real Madrid airborne. So Washa, Rich, are you almost to unlock the defense of a defensive block team? Simply because they don't have a Tony Cruz with intelligent and vision pass from deep. Omunibi. Chiomani and Federico Valverde are workaholics. Omajumani work. They don't have the vision of Modric and Tony Cruz. Other Gule now be say team nimuno. Rich, this is the first season over prime Real Madrid. I will be able. He needs to settle more. Then my last problem ni Rich. Semi-bo game na me bo front rear. What I am expecting and I say, you betinye kutabo na, then get 1v1 for the oboyo your left and your right one. Rich, what the boy name of Vinicius? The Ebama team impact or Real Madrid formation game against a team of Wabaso be defending and he said he will take you on. So on your BT you know about zones where more. That is why he become dangerous. But I don't know what is wrong with him. What possible on the Vinicius or the nice ball so I know the ball number 2 in the no as possible on Konechi. Because he doesn't have only the passion to take you on. But Vinicius, when he is able to go direct and dribble you into the box, and I don't even remember any memory in the game of him. Vinicius. And Rich, Sadio now make us the Vinicius no. Mbappe did it 90 minutes. Anytime he will dribble you. Or shot you, or create space with the dribbles. He was doing all the job. One man, a damn crowd of it. Look, Real Madrid should be careful. The team is becoming too much of Mbappe dependence. Too much. And Enra, a baby on the choir, and I was a Real Madrid, and without him, Rich, I said, what you want it in the Akania. And that is a big problem for Tima, your friend Real Madrid. Now, of course, you see, I agree with the commentator on Abrante penalty. Look, the moment Mbappe led him, say person referee no ebenya any call against you, don't slide in. Say who slide in? Na onai anka ball say in this situation onai anka ball na Rich any contacts. The first advantage a referee will be given to the player na no kuta ball. That is fundamental football. Say me a striker. Na me the ball rub box. Na me treko kakra na o slide in back. Na onai anka ball no there's any contact. I am not saying who initiated any form of contact. Rich, who will slide in now you defender. You will always be at the disadvantage of a Kobe at say. And I think it's a Kotia team at FN Osasuna, and that was enough. Mbappe, BM had to redeem team FN Real Madrid from the a very, very slow start. And all the players recognize that with Abantia, FN Kylian Mbappé, and it was always going to be him. Why? There's Obiampom Beno. Meka Mohamed Salah. The PFA Player of the Year, Obiampom. Look, he had won the writers, he had won the Premier League awards, and the players knew he was the best. Rich Unim said out of all the awards, the Nkofoni Premier to surprise the one the players vote themselves. But Rich, say I told the beer, say Omudi Mohamed Salah on come now person to a category of say, look, more recognizing as one of the greatest to have played the Premier League. I don't know what reservation kakra. But Rich, I think I need to change some mindset. I need to change it. Because if you look at this, then it tells you about how great this guy is in the Premier League. It is true. Rich, Premier League in the great players have been league in him.
The great Thierry Henry.
Thierry!
He winning 2 times.
Yes! Cristiano Ronaldo!
Alan Shearer!
Wow. Kevin De Bruyne! None of the greats are in the Premier League. Or the Lampard with John. Or the Fobiabra. Obianiwa in the history of the Premier League. Not even Steven Gerrard money at the Energy PFA Player of the Year 3 times. Only Salah has done that.
And back to back.
Charlie! I think say me and when it dawned on me say look, when people say Salah is one of the greatest and they will go to debate with him, look, give them the opportunity to do that because abandoned numbers and then you Premier League in Rich Rich, I agree with this Premier League 11 no. I disagree with Fifi on Milos Kekech. Say Nkakuku. No. He played very well. Now, Unim Bibi, Rich, say Usha first 11 way out. It tells you a summary of Premier League story last season. It was a league that was fought between Liverpool and Arsenal, so they dominate the Alieno. Then there were some teams here. We were not. They came in to surprise us throughout the journey. And Rich, they've had their players now. Impacting our story, in the team of the season. Nottingham Forest. Look at the Omuye last season. Marcels is there. And he represents what they were able to achieve. Alexander Isak is the reason why Newcastle is playing the Champions League. Because of the goals. Look at what Albert F. and Chris Wood. And for me, and Bournemouth played very well last season. And Albert F. and Milos Kekech. For me, perfect. Perfect for me. Rich Rogers there, my young player, young player, you wrap it up with the normal ticket. We just mentioned them. Then we there's a sad news for Kumasi Kotoko fans. In Tiababa can want some Rich. Enra, me want you, Mrana. Akwabi tag me on my analysis. Why Isak is behaving the way he's. And the guy gave me a very, very refreshing message. Say, Ayala, you are top because when he came here to Saudi, we are saying that. So Isak message the buyer. Rich, what he is saying are broken promises and they are the meboa. And I have explained what those broken promises are. The story is easy. There is Amanda Cleverly. Come Saudi Arabia for Nebano. She was part of those who brought them. And now shares with him. Now she on get him in Waka Emma Yeska Kennedy room. She rose to become the sporting director of the team. Macabada said last season, Emma started. Amanda met Alexander Isak. And Komodia course was that the board was very, very impressed with Isak's performance and they will give him contract extension within the season. Na omatimi anya kwan atuni pemu amana kosoro. Isak said yes. Amanda left. Then Paul Mitchell came. That is him. the new sporting director for Newcastle onunie I'm from coach and say be a obehun nanim yi rich when they appointed Paul by na Isaac called on say oh Amanda call but me gidi say we jahane over notes and command e koso nyina say won wa ba be hye na office no I can't share me say within the season mo be extend me contract na matimi ato me sikem to se chale me buy ne the board ne dia ma me ne no ma na me hwehwe mu ne de sa promise ne ye enye simply because even the profitability rules no echi yes kasa mo nye ento de se nkomo bi akoso de nyanto base na ye nko kakra rich when Paul told Isaac that Maka in October then he extended Anthony Gordon a contract and gave him more money. Then Isaac said, no, Paul, now they also want to me, mommy, because me and Amanda agree. No, you've done it for Anthony Gordon. And now, so yes, I did 1 year. So last season, you know, some conversation, I say, Anna, Isaac, I can't tell Paul, say, look, I will leave after this season. I want to leave the club. And it's what say Isaac here. I say, transfer saga na ekoso. The people at Newcastle already know about it. Because he has told Paul, see a buses in here, we're losing trust and he want to leave. But Rich, you see, I agree with Obia Oka say, look, these verbal promises are becoming one too many. Victor Jokeres, Ademola Lukman, Isaac, other players. Look, a room may be a rich, and you no. I hear people on the son. But only major players in here, sir. Rich, they believe, say, whether people or not, you want their loyalty to play for you. And yes, me know what people, me do too. But only say me committed about me, people no mean to me more on was on the mount. Now, with Isaac crowd rich, Sir Anya Shekwan, he has been able to bring Liverpool. They are willing to pay 120. Now, what Isaac is saying, and they say, look, my breaking a promise to me. Money people like air when me say any people so make you say. But you know there's a situation. Then Obini Sikaba, well over 120. And Sakab no the other me person be call. So get me off and let me go. Rich, me I think say there should be a compromise.
And then come back.
See you know. Regina, my contract. Regina, my breaking me trust.
Solve a situation.
Fantastic.
The two parties, they made me feel
simple,
amicable way solve the problem. Me Newcastle. I never come and catch you. Look, Abranteno. Muyane den team on Bobby.
But who say?
I'm with Jessica no man.
Rich, me know your dream. But I think say idea a delays idea no and so say Newcastle in your replacement for him. Sakomuko says ko many other players. Sakomunya ya. They would have said Obiaba. Now let's agree.
Jackson Hall. Jackson is Chelsea.
Jackson.
At least Premier League experience 2 years.
Rich Monoma get to be boss in the next 20 seconds.
Say you cry or you play as all. Hotline is all. I'm running on better nothing. You're proud of me if you tell me.
Mamma from 1 minute in the mobile. Buy a for a prepared.
And you need the home
no me pepe. It is in their DNA. Me pepe. Unim dientia. You've lost Leo Sani. Waton Kingsley Kuma. Ama Ernasa. In prayer, can say, Mobile starting Bundesliga. A bunch of friends, Jamal Musiala, is injured. And ka team be a top team be a rich and ka situation we be when apren ho say obeso spend this car in kuku so obebo o friend o so mebo ban na mebo only na agree personal terms any problem then you say you betimi afa o only on loan because the board that take decision say if you na ko dey play be a beba last minute biaro against a loan yes ade a yen koto. Can you believe that? Chelsea so no Abrante no you be see a turn permanent no free so ko yem fa loan na dey wasaba na you say pa obi obeto no dabi you permanent buy and say sade a ene Nkuku no ya che ehun afiri ho. Now again Nkuku muni Chelsea ya o che mu afiri ho then you see nra ma fa phone na ma frɛ Manchester United ne Garnacho say masa na yen gugu ya nya na ultime ba ma ye na Garnacho so mesrɛ mo Chelsea na mbesa mebo ehwa na mebo na Rich me problem ni eto de bia ye wa ase ha no anase me bisa na ya na me gini kwechire too much anase this thing should be simple to be done. Rich, so Manchester United our player be say Garnacho TMU na ose ombo team ni biem yenim de akoso amore say team no ombo biem ni ade na ose Chelsea nkwaro person kwa na Manchester United so entimi because Manchester so meto on 50 Chelsea so metia kura akoso kwa 30. One day I will explain side in the question but it's my problem here. Can't Manchester United go for Nkuku and give them Garnacho? Would that be a bad deal?
Oh, yeah. Also, Nkuku story nearby now. Because me, Nkuku is a Ukotona, and your mammy, you know, be one any injury record. Brandon and so be proud of. 2. About Premier League, you know. Kakana Brandon Abetcheno. In the Bundesliga, he was top notch. But in the Premier League, in
the Bundesliga, he won the player of the season.
Yes, he was the player of the season.
Now, Rich,
what the mini problem?
Rich is
but in the Premier League, as I'm without Kaka.
Rich, Sankonyo good player. Inter Mpe, Bayern Mpe, RB Leipzig can penny back. Juventus will not dance around him. A player when we need Bundesliga player of the season. That.
Oh, well, Premier League now,
probably he needs a different environment. I have a money GTA. What I'm saying, NSA, look, who are Garnacho? Or so Pesoko. We're choosing club, our Pesoko. Club no a very, very good player. I also know Tim. He can give you some versatility. I'll bet him wow. Shouldn't be because maybe if I sit on the Manchester United board, I would have told them, look, let's take Garnacho and tell Chelsea especially when they are not ready to give us Sika Epeno. Rich,
15 no media.
Omuntia.
Any fair player.
So you see, if the situation will get to a point where Manchester United will be forced to keep Garnacho, then why don't you go for Nkuku? Then give them, give Garnacho to them.
Yeah, G15 from Semi the tank of Nkuku.
You see. Almost say, oh, also be so blue. It's Oya slow Oya. Mommy, which it should have been.
Yeah, just in Kukas or Muyin. Some almost so much last minute. Because someone said, look, a brand and Yampano.
Yes.
Last minute, now be able to close it transfer. Now, no, my bookies, German. 20, 25, 30, when you're not brand in mine. Yes, I am to Branton in or on Trabent.
Good. So one to
one player.
One to one. Obetima, Obey, I didn't buy much. Obey, this one, the mamma. I want to win Tono. I don't see a player. Obetima, with him.
I don't know 50. If you are able to enter the Afan Kuku. Simple.
Rich, with your mamma interesting.
Player or prepare the Yentone Ida.
Say, no, Italy, we show more sports newspapers, major ones now. There is Korea dello Sport. There is Rasmus Holland and Nemo. There is Tutto Sport. There is Rasmus Holland and Nemo.
Hot cake.
There is La Gazzetta dello Sport. Rasmus Holland and Nemo. Only story, no. Who said no? Me catch you say. Na Milan see omo pen. And na Enre ya Napoli do omo gym. Rich Milan take the first move. Omo say okay. You nyina ye pen on loan. But the person initial contract. You say na be ya man you didn't be my and say. You will have an obligation to say you better Abrantiano. Say yes, idea Manchester United will give Abrantiano to us. Even the obligation must come with some small conditions. But that is the move of Milan. I say, I'm going to say so much to me this idea in the bar. Na any option to buy obligation say we the more loan we are changing next season there Mobatona or me and so Milan are making almost smart move on Abrantiano fan was in Holland. Hey, Adi will be in Peno. Na obi so come board meetings per structure obetimi dia kofano sa na wi city o rich sa na wi ase etie mama ma 2 bet equals we na mentena se na yentimi emedi enkomo no ewofie enkomo no ewofie na de papa na
Chelsea for no mo pa omo ne menka so no boko ya me free board no ma catch them say mo ma but So me o ma dwen aso Branton so bobo amantino chinchina 30 na beto ye be keep player no
Rich Ochina ebe
na ye dia on tra bench any problem
Ochina o ye be di Garnacho komoni
no problem
because me gidi say mo ka ho
oh no dey so be any
Chelsea eye musa
yeah ni am Branton I for
yes
because ya me wiase na us Branton dey hia no
because you secure Chelsea the quarter gatings
obi an so Branton dey hia no enti ade a wo hia dey say maybe first ka kese beto
we scatter Chelsea the top gatings
and then there akwa ya
already and say omobobo for Eze from Crystal Palace to Tottenham
na Garnacho
Garnacho
50
and so there's a situation in Tina na yesa
na bali ba grass 115
until we will come and discuss that. And you see, Rich, the entire Bantiano so will put any time because you say one major factor I was say who discuss it transfer also what they underline and they say, Rich, we are playing the last season towards the World Cup and players will move good national teams, you know. Omuni says World Cup Garnacho or Manchester United on Argentina and World Cup. Rich, two better course. First one no BWBD 71AA6 BWBD 71AA6 and a second one which the last one BWBD 73C63 BWBD 73C63 two better course with my screenshot na wakwa now Rich